where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what is it all for? Like, you get confused, you get ahead of yourself, you're speeding, you're racing, you're in a rushful spirit. Yeah. No. My friend, the constant pressure is paralyzing your process. That's why we find ourselves procrastinating the very things we want to do. Isn't that weird? The things that we want to do, that we know are going to produce the outcomes that we desire, we find ourselves not doing. Then we look around, we see people doing things we want to do. So we compare ourselves, beat ourselves up, fall into this negative cycle of disbelief because we're paralyzed. Listen, I'm gonna make you a cup of tea. I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea so we can move through this paralyzed procrastination and all this pressure and relieve ourselves. I got some jasmine green tea, absolutely divine. Got it at the T&T shop, $9.99, big deal. Oh my God, it's good. Wait, no, don't worry, I've been there. Paralyzed by my own process, like almost like afraid to turn on the camera. Like, I think the pressure to perform is weird. Like it can be good in many ways, and we'll talk about that. But also, why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? Nah, that smells absolutely crazy. Smell it, smell it, smell it, smell it, smell it, smell it. You smell that? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's for you. Once this goes down, it's gonna soothe all that procrastination. We're gonna be flowing energy, gonna be flowing, we're gonna be creating, we're gonna be thriving, we're gonna be loving the life that we live. Okay, we got a couple teapots. Are we going to go with, I like to call this teapot Zaza. So we got Zaza. Actually, Alex L recommended this one to me. She sent it to me on Etsy. She's like, yo, you gotta get this. So shout out to Alex L. Absolutely love her creations. Next, haven't named this one. Maybe you can name it for me below in the comment section. I love this one. I just got this. It represents duality. We have the dragon here and the peacock. What type of energy are you stepping into this year? A fierce energy, or maybe a little bit more grace for yourself because you've been putting so much pressure on yourself. This one's fire. This is different. Now we just got our OG classics as well. Glass with the wood tip, brim. Another classic. You can't really go wrong with just an all glass teapot. I don't know, I got so much pressure right now just choosing teapots, you understand it? ADHD, poor executive function, decision fatigue, breaking down. Okay, we gonna go, let's be fancy today. But anyways, I feel your pain. I'm there as well. I'm a chronic procrastinator. I have this weird relationship with pressure because I've actually been able to do amazing things under pressure. And I've always kind of left things to the last minute. Like I remember in grade 4 or 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, like every class project where the teacher gave us weeks to do, I would literally leave it until like the last night, and then my mom would have to help me. I would procrastinate even in grade 2. The pressure would paralyze me. It's just me and you, so we really just need one scoop. And then all through my life, it really just carried with me, like this pressure to like almost perform in a weird way, And I think like creating is really opposite of a performance. I think it's really just part of our day, like brushing our teeth. One of my favorite artists, Bobby McFerrin, he does like these amazing improv shows. And he says he looks at his shows just like another activity within his day. Just like in an African tribe, when everyone comes together around New and they start singing. It's not like this big performance, it's just a part of their life. And so is our work, so is our creation. Like we put so much expectations on ourselves and the creation that it literally cripples us from even getting started. It's so unfortunate. I want to throw a little bit of rose petals in here. And I think a lot of us just need a rose or two in life right now. Show ourselves a little bit more love, a little bit more grace. Smells real good. I also have, you can't really see it, but I have a little bit of lavender and pomegranate in here. So we're gonna mix that in. I have this habit I do every morning when I'm making a cup of tea. As I'm pouring the water in, I always list off 1 to 3 things I'm grateful for. So we're going to do it together. I'm going to pour in the water, and just in your mind, just name off one thing you're grateful for. One thing that you love about life right now, even if your life is shit. Just at least one thing. It's a powerful exercise. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds corny, but sometimes the corniest cliche things are actually the most powerful. Okay, I'm grateful for the conversation me and my daughter had this morning while we were in traffic. We were in traffic for 40 minutes while I was driving her to school. It usually takes 20 minutes. And I was quite frustrated because I have a lot to do today. But then I realized I had a beautiful opportunity just to like hang out, you know. We talked about Japan, talked about some kids at her school, a little gossip. No, but I am very grateful for my daughter and this new era that we're in. And she's a teenager. She's turning 16 in a month, so it's like a completely different relationship now, and I'm very grateful for that journey. What are you grateful for? We're gonna let that steep for a second, couple minutes. So I found that like my whole life I've basically used pressure as like a fuel source because it works. Like when I have a deadline and I don't have a lot of time, it's as if mind, body, and spirit, I just get fully activated. And I do quite amazing things. I remember beginning of the pandemic, this company hit me up that was working with Meta, Oculus, the VR experience. And they're like, hey, we saw you on TikTok and we think you would be perfect to create a VR show. And they had all these other, artists, creatives, and people doing them as well. And these were like big names. At this time, I'm just starting to bubble up on the internet. And I'm like, sure, for sure. Like, this is amazing. Meta, Oculus, VR. I've never even tried VR before. So they send me a headset, I put on the headset. I actually meet them in this like digital theater room and we talk about the project. And they're like, have you ever produced a VR show? And I'm like, I don't even know how, but like, I'll figure it out. This is bothering me. Let me move this. So, I'm like, yes, let's totally do it. They're like, great. I'm thinking, I got to learn how to now make something in VR with a new camera, different type of editing. I'm thinking I'm going to have like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They're like, we need it in 3 days. And I'm just like sitting there like, yeah, okay. I didn't want to show no weakness, I'm like, I really want this. Plus, it was $10,000. I was going to get 10,000. I never made any money from like a personal project before. I made money from shooting music videos. I have my own videography business, but like my own story, like I'm the star, director, producer, and everything, and I'm getting $10,000. No way I'm turning this down. So the pressure was on, and I got right to it, and I created it within 48 hours, and I didn't like it. It was absolute shit. It just wasn't that good. I'm like, I cannot turn this in. So I was like, scratched it, and I went again. I had 24 hours. I did not sleep. I'm not lying. I did not sleep for 72 hours, but I did it. I completed it. And till this day, I think it's one of the best projects. They loved it. They premiered it. They played it continuously in Meta Oculus. When I went and watched it in the movie theater, like the VR movie theater, I was in one show. Across the hall was 2 Chainz. So I was like, man, I'm in good company. And that was a pattern throughout my whole creative life, is that I used pressure to put my back against the wall and basically create a diamond. But what I found is living under pressure over time, constantly, just starts to become a prison for your expression. Let me say that again. Pressure can become a prison for our expression. And a lot of us creators, artists, whatever it may be, we have this pressure to post, this pressure to succeed, this pressure for the thing that we make to like get the views. And that pressure within itself causes us to procrastinate from even starting, because now it's almost like you create this illusion that there's so much on the line when really there isn't. I find creating from purpose is a lot better. Purpose over pressure. Because this is ready. Tea first. I'm about to get hot in it. We get into when I get into it, I get into it. Y'all, I almost forgot. Oh my. Yeah, that sounded. Oh my. Yo, the pomegranate in there with the rose petals. Different. Watch this. This is my favorite part, right? All you do is go like this. Isn't that just like one of the best teapots you've ever seen in your life? I collect teapots. I've been gatekeeping too. I haven't been sharing it with y'all, but like, I have a lot. There you go. And for myself, you know me, I drink a lot of tea. I drink about 7, 8 cups a day. Starting off with the blacks in the morning, to the greens, and then to the herbals in the evening. Yeah, that's good. A little bit, I think actually a little bit too much jasmine in there, or we brewed it a little bit too long, just because, I was spitting, I was getting a flow. But purpose over pressure. If we can move ourselves from pressure to purpose, you're gonna see that like the creations that start to flow through you naturally. You have to deconstruct your pressure. Why do we feel so much pressure? What I realize is a lot of the pressure is self-imposed. It's as if we put a bunch of sandbags in a backpack and carry that backpack all day, like purposely just carrying more weight on ourselves. We convince ourselves that we can't take a break when we can take a break. Look at creators like Vanessa Lau, who took a whole year off, came back, and she's absolutely crushing it. And she's much more in alignment, I believe, with like who she is in this season, and she's sharing so much value. A lot of us don't think we could take a break. A lot of us don't think we can just take some time. What I've learned and what I've always said is good content starts offline by design. You living a good life, you treating yourself good, you're nourishing yourself, you inspiring yourself, you motivating yourself, and understand mind, body, and spirit. Good content is just going to flow out of you. But when you put all this pressure on yourself, oh, I got to get this many subscribers. Oh, I got to perform. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, my last video only got 500 views. Oh my God, if my next video fails, everyone's going to see my failures. All that is literally poison for your process. Now, yes, sometimes when we feel like we have something to prove and our back is against a wall, that pressure can make a diamond, but we cannot live under pressure. It will paralyze your process. It is prison for our expression. Now you may be like, I don't have purpose. And I'm be like, well, your presence has purpose. And then you'll be like, well, what does that mean? And I'm going to say, I believe every season that we are in holds so much purpose. You understand? Like your purpose doesn't have to be this grand thing that you're climbing towards every single day. But what I do know is you need to remind yourself of who you are every day. So I have this practice where every morning there's 5 things that I do. But one of them is I go over my vision and my purpose. Because what happened is as I'm like doing so much in life, I will start to hit these points where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what is it all for? Like, you get confused, you get ahead of yourself, you're speeding, you're racing, you're in a rushful spirit. So every single day, I feed my foundation, what my philosophies are, what my goals are. I have it in my Notion. I'll actually share it with you right here. Let me pull it up. See, one of my purposes is self-mastery, of mastering my craft. Another purpose is to unite people beyond their differences, promoting oneness and understanding, regardless of how different we are. Another one of my purposes is just to embody kindness, which is, I think, true strength. One of my goals are to publish a book. Another goal, I want to purchase a couple homes and also gift those homes to other artists as residencies when they need time and space to create. Another goal of mine, I want to learn Japanese well, speak it fluently. Another purpose of mine is to guide others into a more intentional life, to help people nurture their gifts, because I believe our highest form of nutrition is in our expression. Every single morning, I go over this list. And now there's way more on this, but I remind myself of who I am, what I'm doing. Because if we don't do something like this, you're going to be doing it for the wrong reasons. And you're going to start to copy other people. And now you're building something that's not authentic to you. And now you're resenting the process because it's not you. It's not a reflection of you. So the purpose, vision, morning practice, we can call it, I find is crucial. Next, I've been getting into some other exercises like Morning Pages, Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. Absolutely love that book. Why? When we wake up in the morning, there's a lot of disbelief sometimes in our mind, maybe negative thoughts, worries, fears. Instead of harboring them And, having that paralyze our process, just get it down on paper, 3 pages, write it out every single day. And what I notice is each day, the negative thoughts, they're not even negative anymore. Now it's just good ideas. This is expression. It's just like, having fun in the writing, but we're getting all of that out the way so we can enjoy the process again. Because I hate that feeling of like procrastinating the very things that I love to do. I used to do it with music all the time. I love to make music, but I would procrastinate it because I put so much pressure on myself to make a good beat because I attached value to how good something was. So if I didn't make something good, it's as if I believed in myself less. When really we need to like laugh it off and be like, oh man, I made some bad art today. Oh man, I made a video, it wasn't that great, but how can I make it better this time or next time, right? It's just about having gratitude for our process. But we have to deconstruct our process. Why are you applying so much pressure to yourself? Is it financial reasons? Maybe you need a job or another side hustle so you don't put all this weird energy right now on your creativity. Who knows, maybe. Or maybe you just need to have more faith and know that everything is working out in your favor and bring that joy back into the process, right? The pressure to perform can paralyze your process. It can be a prison for your expression. This is why we have to be very mindful about how we are approaching the work. Now listen, I'm a firm believer in doing the work. You understand? Like I believe that we should show up every single day. I believe if you're trying to be a creative professional, you should treat it as if you are like a professional athlete. Doesn't mean you don't take breaks, but you take healthy breaks, right? To give your mind space, idle time to work ideas out and come back to it. But I believe even if we're not feeling the vibe that day, 90% of the times, I believe we should still get to it. Because what I find is I'd be procrastinating, I'd be paralyzed by my process. Now I'm coming up with excuses like, oh, today's not the day. But if I just make a cup of tea, listen to some nice sounds, and just get to it, about 10, 20, 30, maybe sometimes even 40% in, finally, I'm in a flow. And now I'm enjoying myself and I'm making things I'm proud of. And it's as if all that procrastination, all that pressure, I realized, oh, that was an illusion. I created that myself. You know what I'm saying? Live your life by design. You make the rules. No one is forcing you to create. No one is forcing you to post. You understand? Yes, if you stop posting, maybe you have a couple people that miss you. And 3 weeks later, sorry to say, they're going to forget about you. Sorry to say, we're all going to pass one day. So we might as well be ourselves. So the ones that love us can come closer. The ones that don't can move out the way. And while we're here, we might as well express ourselves because it's the highest form of nutrition and enjoy the process, right? One of my favorite quotes from the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, is the destination is in every step. Meaning, where are you trying to go? It's not on top of that mountain. It's actually just right here, right now, present. The next step you take is where you're supposed to be. And then the next step you take, that's exactly where you are supposed to be. You understand? Let's move from pressure, all that constant pressure that's paralyzing your beautiful process. And let's move into purpose. What's your purpose today? It could change. For me, when I'm going through my purpose list, sometimes I realize I've grown and I've evolved. So some things on that list, I change. Our purpose evolves with us as we are molding, as we are changing. Again, your purpose isn't this one singular thing all the time. It can grow with you as you go. But you need to remind yourself of who you are and why you are doing, the ultimate why. I talk about this in our creator space, our private membership, where I hop on Zoom twice a month with creators and we support one another, give value and keep ourselves accountable. We get consistent and we're making our best work because at the end of the day, there's a big opportunity in the world to be ourselves, discover ourselves through the process, and also turn that passion into profit if we want to. Turn that passion into profession. Why not? Let's do it. Let me know how that cup of tea was. I'll see you next time.